Mew! Hello everybody, this is Red Vinyl Kitty, and today I'm doing a video response to a comment that I got, and I'm going to read it to you. Here it is. It's from Miss Erica, 1979. It says, I have a question. Does your master care for your ports and handle all your stuff? I wanted to do a video response to this because it's kind of complicated, but it's also something that I have been asked before, and I think it's a really good question. So here we go. The first medical device that I got was my port, and when I got my port, it became really complicated for me physically. It was much harder to shower, it was much harder to get dressed, and I was like really physically tired. And also not just tired, but I was starting to decline more. And so it began to get difficult for me to do stuff. I've always been sick, and I've had medical difficulties my whole life, but when I needed the port, things had started to get substantially more difficult for me. So we looked into getting a PCA, which is somebody who comes and helps take care of you. And at that time, because this was years ago, at that time it was not a possibility, because having a port, yeah, you could see it, having a port meant that I had an open wound, and having an open wound meant that having a PCA, they could come, but they couldn't touch me in any kind of way. They couldn't touch my body, so they couldn't help me into or out of the shower. They couldn't help me get dressed. They couldn't help me do anything that involved touching me in any way. And what they told me was, if you want, we can send a PCA and they can go do your groceries, or they can do your laundry. And that wasn't really anything that we needed help with. It just wasn't. I needed help with things like physically demanding things, like getting in the shower and getting dressed and that kind of thing. Those were things that were physically demanding for me in Master Province. So then when I got my feeding tube, which is higher up, it's not down low, it's higher up, it was the same thing. And it was also the same thing when I got an ileostomy, which I don't have now, but when I had an ileostomy, it was all the same thing. That's an open wound. We can't do it. You need a nurse to do that. And you're not going to get a nurse to live with you. So if you want, people can have a nurse live with them. I personally am not going to be, I'm not sick enough to have a nurse live with me. Because I'm not sick enough to have a nurse live with me, there's no one who'll be able to do those things that I need, because a nurse coming out to my house won't be able to help me shower, because that's not really what a nurse would do in the place where I live. A nurse is supposed to do things like give me medicine, set up my IV lines, and that kind of thing that the PCA is not allowed to do. So a PCA was out, and what happens to a lot of families is they wind up taking care of the sick person themselves. So that's what Master Provis wound up doing. He wound up taking care of me himself. Now, it's not like I can't do anything for myself. I do a lot of things for myself, but I need help. For example, I'm unable to spike my own IV bags. That's really hard. I can't even lift the IV bags, so he has to spike the IV bags, set them up the night before, but during the day, I can give them to myself. I don't need him to, manually give me the IVs and hook me up and disconnect me. I can do that by myself. But, I can't give myself a bath. I can do it once I get into the tub, but I need him to help me tie my feeding tube up. I take care of my port myself, but he tapes up my port for me and helps me get into and out of the tub. But once I'm in there, I can handle it by myself. It's all of these little things that I need help to do half of the stuff, but on my own, it's true. I do need help. I can't do these things myself. However, in 2004, the rules around having a PCA changed. But unfortunately, they did not they didn't change enough to help me or people like me, which kind of sucks, but it doesn't matter, because no matter what, it's still a win for disabled people, and I think that that's wonderful. Now, people who have open wounds and a feeding tube, which is down here, and a power port, it's mirrored. It's hard. People who have open wounds can be touched by their PCAs to get bathed and to get fed, which is wonderful, because before they weren't allowed to even set up feeding tube bags. Like, they couldn't set up my feeding tube or feed me. But the problem is, people like me are considered complex medical care. I don't need unskilled medical care. So I still can't get help from a PCA who would come in and help me. The only way that I can stay in my home and not have to live in a nursing home, which, if you live in a nursing home, I think that's great. But I am trying to live at home, and the only way that I can stay in my home is I need help from my family. So Master Provis does most of the stuff for me, and we do it together. It's a joint effort. He doesn't have to do everything, and sometimes I'm able to do more, and sometimes I'm able to do less. That's just the way it is. And also, like, for example, there were things that I wasn't able to do for years, and then we find a new way to do it. Like, now I can sleep in the bed, or now I can get around the house with my backpack, and that opened up new worlds for me. So it's true, Master Provis does a lot of stuff. Like, I can't set up my own food because it's so heavy. It's so heavy. So I hope that answers your question. I do have my fingers crossed that one day there will be better laws for people like me who need help at home to stay in their home. Because making disabled people rely only on their family is really hard. And there are people who are disabled who don't have any family, and they deserve to have a good life too. So thank you for watching, thank you for asking, and I will see you guys all soon. Mew! Bye!